Magnum XL-200 is a roller coaster located at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. This roller coaster opened as not only the world's tallest full-circuit roller coaster, but also the world's first hypercoaster. Today, this is kind of seen as a polarizing coaster, but I notice a lot of people seem to like this ride. However, I personally believe it's the most overrated coaster that I've ridden, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So this is my review of Magnum XL-200. So let's get into the stats. This coaster reaches a maximum height of 205 feet, and it has a 60-degree drop of 194.7 feet. It reaches a maximum speed of 72 miles per hour, and it has a track length of 5,106 feet, making it almost a mile in length. This ride also has a duration of 2 minutes. Now let's discuss the layout of this coaster. You start off this layout by exiting the station, and then taking a little dip, and then taking a right turn into the 205-foot lift hill. This lift hill takes a while to get to the top. However, I wouldn't say the chain lift is exactly slow, like it seems about normal pace. It just takes a while to get up there. After you get to the top of this lift hill, you experience what I would say is the best element of this coaster, and that is the drop. And in my opinion, I believe the ride goes downhill from here. The ride enters a massive airtime hill that I'm not even sure really gave any airtime, but then it takes this super bumpy and jerky diagonal turn into this tunnel. After that element, you go into another airtime hill that is then followed by this turnaround element of some sort, and in my opinion it is very bumpy and jerky, just like the other element that I mentioned before. After this turnaround element, you go into an airtime hill that's in a tunnel, and then it's followed by a completely outdoor airtime hill. That's then followed by an airtime hill that takes a diagonal turn to the right. I forget how bumpy or jerky it was. I don't quite remember. But then you enter this section of the ride that I personally did not like. One thing you should know about me is that I am a big fan of ejector airtime. However, I would only consider that the case when that ejector airtime is executed properly. I did not enjoy the triangular ejector airtime hills on the finale of Magnum XL-200, and I believe part of the reason for that was the lap bar. You see, these airtime hills, they just hurt my legs, honestly, and I guess it was too much for the lap bar or something, but it's just not comfortable. This was a time that I found myself not excited for airtime. This almost I'd say I was almost trying to avoid airtime after experiencing those moments on this coaster. The more they came, the more I tried to avoid getting airtime because it was just uncomfortable. I did not like the finale of this coaster. Despite it having so much ejector airtime, it just wasn't pulled off properly. After that painful ejector-filled finale, the ride comes to an end. Now this is the part where my review kind of becomes more of a rant, because it's time for me to give my overall thoughts on this coaster. Now like I said before, I consider this to be the most overrated coaster that I've ridden, and this is even considering that it's a polarizing roller coaster. Now, this is why I consider it to be overrated. I don't know how this is possible, but I have heard some coaster enthusiasts consider this the best ride, get this, at Cedar Point, which means it's better than rides like Millennium Force, Maverick, Top Thrill Dragster, and even Steel Vengeance. And honestly, here's the thing, I like to respect other people's opinions because I believe everyone is entitled to their own opinion. However, I don't understand how you could consider this coaster better than all of those elite coasters, because this coaster is not even in my top 10 in the park alone. Honestly, and the reason for that, it's not terrible. I've ridden worse coasters what's it called? Georgia Cyclone and Ninja at Six Flags Over Georgia, which have now been changed, but I haven't ridden the changed versions. However, I just don't understand how this could be considered so great because it's not very comfortable. the ejector hills, like I said before, they hurt my legs. And here's the thing, Steel Vengeance, it kind of, like, a little bit, it kind of makes your legs a little sore, mainly because of those shin guards, but not to the extent of Magnum. And the thing is, Magnum has a lot of jerky and bumpy moments as well. Now, I've been able to enjoy rough wooden coasters before. Mind Blower is a very rough coaster, Mind Blower at Fun Spot America in Kissimmee, Florida, and I'd say I like that coaster. But I cannot really say that I enjoyed riding Magnum XL-200. I will give it this, though. I am very thankful that it exists, because if it didn't exist, we wouldn't have the great coasters we have today, because this coaster, I'm pretty sure, started the coaster war, and it was also the world's first hyper coaster. So anyways, that will be all for this roller coaster review. If you want to see more coaster related content like this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to turn on post notifications to get notified of my newest and latest uploads. I'll see you guys in the next video.